Welcome into a Tuesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, live here from the UDL as we are coming to you on this Tuesday morning. Lots to talk about as we'll talk to Billy Liucci of TexAgs.com. We'll stop by in an hour. Tell us the latest on Texas, Oklahoma, and Conference Realignment. As officially it was announced yesterday that Texas and Oklahoma have declined their renewal of the Big 12 renewal for 2025 as far as the media rights go. So they have started the road to the SEC as that began on Monday. We'll talk to Billy Liucci about how it affects Texas A&M, how it affects the conference, how it affects the rest of college football coming up here at 8 o'clock this morning. We'll also talk about the Olympics right now. Are you paying attention? The numbers are out after the first week, and the
how bad are they?
TV audience is down, man.
I don't even know what channel it's
significantly.
on.
It's something NBC.
I think I
Is
read
it on
that
the
a lot
Cock?
of people are streaming it, though, right?
Peacock?
Yes.
I don't have that, so I can't watch it.
You make it for free.
NBC? You don't have NBC?
I don't have the Peacock network, right? And aren't they two different
That's their
things?
streaming service.
Yeah. So I have NBC Sports.
NBC too.
No, it is on NBC,
Yeah,
but I
you
mean,
can
it's just
watch
it's hard to watch TV these days.
It really
hard to
is.
watch.
I mean, it really is. I mean,
Put
it's
it
a
on
lot
ESPN.
harder than it used to be.
It really is.
And NBC their numbers are down. Simone Biles is out of the Olympics. Team USA Basketball is struggling. Greg Popovich is being chastised by his own team. It is not a good look for Team USA. We'll talk about that. The Pelicans moving and shaking here going into draft week as the NBA draft. Don't know if you realize this, but the draft is coming up on Thursday night. It'll be live there on ESPN. Pelicans already making some moves as going into round one. They had a big shakeup yesterday to kick off the week. The Grizzlies and the Pelicans reportedly agreed on a massive trade that we will give you the details on coming up here along the way on the Jordy Culotta Show. We will talk a little bit about LSU football as we are now just under 40 days to kick off.
It's crazy.
It's crazy, man.
The thing needs to hurry up and sprint here.
Yeah, it
so
does.
slow.
It does.
Content.
It's usually the last month is the slow drip.
Oh yeah, because it reminds me of like the back to school whenever you start seeing like book sacks out
Yeah.
and like notebooks, and when you're a kid you're like, oh no, summer's over,
Yes.
dude. I gotta go buy shoes and uniforms, and it's just probably the worst time of your life.
We've done the uniform thing over here, so we've had that realization.
Was he
that
dragging
schools-
ass?
Yes, very much so.
the worst feeling in the
Now
world.
we are cramming the summer reading.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Nothing says going back to school than
Picking up a book.
than cramming the summer reading
And the math.
assignment. Yes, the math workbook is a
math.
new one.
I know.
That is new on me. Little
ready.
Jay's going into 5th grade. I guess
Yeah.
this is when it starts.
Every year now.
Is it new
Summer
math?
It's new math, bro,
Yeah.
and I am lost.
Wait, new math?
Lost, yes.
When did new math
It's
become
like
a thing?
Singapore
What's old math?
When did it come in?
Sophie at Singapore math. I don't know. It's crazy. I can't do it at all. I'm just like, I'm sorry, y'all, but I'm not in
Yeah.
school anymore. I don't know what I'm doing. Good
No,
luck.
What does it consist of?
We're looking for tutors.
Bro,
over at
I'm
the
going
Culotta
like,
House.
yeah, like I can help you with touch points, and that's about it. Like
Gotta
1,
get a
2,
tutor.
3, 4, 5, and then after that seems like everything's changed.
So summer is winding down here as school is just right around the bend here. And summer is, but it does feel like summer.
Yeah, it does. Are you kidding me?
Jack, what do you think, buddy? This is your first summer in South Louisiana. You spent it mostly hovering over a toilet, puking and sick, I feel like.
No, that's you. That's you.
Well, I don't do it over the toilet. I just do it in the grass.
Both of y'all do.
How has this heat affected you?
Was it Saturday when it was like 100?
That was
Yeah.
brutal.
I was working and there was like 500 people.
Outside?
No, inside. Thank God. And I was like, this is not cool. Like, this is a sweatshop. Like, there should be labor laws for this.
No.
Was that the hottest you've ever experienced in your life?
Yeah, every 10 minutes, like, screw this. I'm going in the cooler and then go. Like, where shouldn't you be bartending? No, leave me alone. This is too hot.
Wasn't affected at all, and Katie's pool, I felt great.
Yeah, right.
I got you. Send him a text. Gonna come on over.
The Clark County waterfalls over there at Tunica Hills. You should check them out.
Oh, yeah?
Not in July.
We all-
right.
See, that's what Jack's gonna have to learn. We all found water immediately.
Y'all
Like we all just
did.
found like bodies of water to go to, and he's like just working inside, like sweating his ass
I
off.
know.
He was trying to live in a house without an AC at the beginning of the year. It's like, Jack, you'll die.
I mean,
You
he
can't
doesn't
make
know
it.
any better.
There's AC in there now and it's hitting. It's
Yes.
hitting.
Turn that thing down to 65.
We will talk to Garrett Temple coming up here in a couple of minutes. We will get his thoughts on Olympic basketball. I wanted to ask him about the finals, really, and talk to him about sports psychology. When you talk about Giannis's numbers compared on the road to at home with his free throws. If you think about what was the difference maker in games 5 and 6, it was Giannis capitalizing at the free throw line, especially in game 6.
21.
17 for 21 in game 6, in route to that 50-point performance that he had. But ask him the psychology a little bit about behind that, and also on Ben Simmons, just kind of how we've seen Ben Simmons vanish offensively over the last couple of seasons, and in particular in this playoff run for the Philadelphia 76ers. And Garrett is always great to catch up with. We mentioned the Hometown Hero basketball camp that was here locally in Baton Rouge last Saturday over at the Sports Academy, where a lot of those guys grew up. When you talk about Tyrus Thomas, Glenn Davis, Garrett Temple, Tasman Mitchell, all of those guys grew up through the Sports Academy. They came back into Baton Rouge
games. You're not
last
next,
week.
bro.
They won the national championship. That was what Collis was telling us about. That was the team that won the AAU national championship in 2004. 2003, they won the AAU national championship, and in 2006, they were in the Final Four.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so it was, and they all came out of Sports Academy, which is just you want to talk about a sweat box. I mean, just a gym, one-floor gym under the interstate over there on 22nd Street in downtown Baton Rouge. And Garrett Temple was one of the faces over there for the Hometown Heroes.
Did that squad go against LeBron?
That squad went against LeBron in the AAU
circuit.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because he got, what,
Yeah, remember,
2003?
Collis was telling us a story about when they went to the ABCD camp, and LeBron's team was there, and they showed up with Big Baby and Tasman and Garrett and that whole crew. Early Doucette was the stud. I'm telling you, if you go back and you talk to Collis about it, if you go back and listen to the interview that we had with Collis, the difference maker on that team, what really pushed them over the top, was picking up Early Doucette out of St. Martinville. And Doucette was a year younger than them. He was kind of like just a phenom of an athlete. He went on to play football at LSU and played in the league for the Arizona Cardinals. But he was an incredible bat. There's a highlight possibly on YouTube. No, I don't know if it's on YouTube, but Early Doucette makes almost like a Michael Jordan baseline move that he put on Patrick Ewing, where he kind of goes in and out and he dunks on Ewing. Doucette does that to Chris Bosh in a Dallas AAU tournament, where he kind of goes in, goes back to the baseline, and then comes over the top on Bosh, and Early was left-handed. And he cocked it with his left hand and put it on Bosch's head. I mean, it was nasty.
I don't even play basketball, dude.
Right. Yeah, right. I mean,
Catch me in the NFL.
And Bosch is the 4th overall pick in the draft a couple of years later. So I don't know how we got there. Garrett Temple will be here in a couple of minutes, and we will talk to Garrett about all of that, the Hometown Heroes basketball camp, and some of the basketball stuff, and Team USA, man. Just what from his point of view as as an NBA player, what he looks at, and so we will talk about that coming up here on the Jordy Culotta Show. So stick around here as we will talk to Billy Liucci coming up at 8 a.m. We'll talk to Garrett Temple in a couple of minutes here on the Jordy Culotta Show. But the Olympic numbers are down when you talk about the Olympics. And the Summer Olympics, the total TV audience for the opening weekend for Tokyo Olympics was down significantly from the previous Summer Games in 2016. As we talked about, down nearly 54%. How about that?
Fired.
Why is
From
that?
a television
do y'all think?
advertising standpoint.
No fans.
Do you think it's because all of the stigmas leading up to it, because of all of the coronavirus coming back, how they've handled it, and then everybody was like, oh, I guess it almost feels like it's not happening.
Yeah.
But it's certainly going on.
Yeah.
Like, it's going on, but it just feels like, everything around it. Like, then you hear about they're sleeping on cardboard beds, and you're wondering why they're even going over there. Now Simone Biles is checked out.
No.
Like, a lot of people are just kind of bouncing from the Olympics because it seems like a shitty situation to be in. Like, I know you want to fight for your country in pageantry and get a gold medal, but at what point is it like, all right, this isn't even worth it at all? Yeah, it sucks.
It's terrible, man. I mean, like, I can't even.
I haven't watched a second.
I haven't either. I haven't. I mean, I didn't watch the NBA. I didn't watch the basketball game live. I didn't watch any of what's happening. And like I said, it's just it's more than anything. It's hard to find.
I would watch, like, remember, it'd be like 10 p.m. and you'd be like, Michael Phelps is swimming. We'd watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a watch. You would go over to people's houses. It was a party.
Yeah.
Like, it was like a watch party. Do you think that maybe the Sha'Carri Richardson pub at the beginning of all this had people like almost immediately checked out because of how they handled that situation?
I think a lot of those situations happen.
Right.
And like people, like Team USA, like the basketball team, it's like they don't really care that much.
They don't look like they.
Watch.
They don't want to be there at all.
Yeah.
We're betting Iran.
Oh yeah.
It does
Might
not
put us on a list.
It's the
but
first time anybody's ever said that.
No fly zone.
Yeah.
It does not look like they want to be there.
Doesn't.
They play very uninspired. You just everything that you see from the Olympics. There's no draw. There's no pull. There's no attraction to the games. I mean, it is tough to find anything that pulls you in. And now with Simone Biles being out, it is really hard to find anything that is pulling towards USA into the television. I mean,
Naomi Osaka's out too. And
What's that?
Was a huge one. Naomi Osaka's out too. And
Tennis
that was
girl.
a huge one that
Yeah,
people
the tennis.
were watching too.
And I think that's what the Olympics was, at least in my mind. You watch sports that you normally don't watch.
Yeah,
Like I
because
felt
of
like
those
I would.
people.
Yeah,
You
but
wanna
I would
watch
like watch
those
track.
people.
Like I don't watch track if it's on, but if it's in the Olympics, I'll watch track,
Yeah.
and then I'll watch like the 4x1 relay, like
Yeah.
and swimming. Like you watch all of these things because that's the draw. It's like
Yeah.
all right, you see this every 4 years. And these people, like Simone Biles or Michael Phelps, are the absolute best in the world at what they're
Yeah.
doing. But you don't really pay attention until it's for a gold medal. And now I'm not even checked into that part. Like, I just am out. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. There's nothing for the Olympics that pulls me in right now.
I think it's on right now.
It probably is.
Probably.
And
I think
there's
it's a
drama
12-hour
surrounding
time difference.
everybody, so that hurts.
Is that what it is?
too, I feel
12
I
hours?
think so.
Or Devin Booker.
Or 14. I think it's 14-hour time difference. So it's
Yeah, it's a lot.
it's 9 p.m. in Japan right now. So they're rocking and rolling.
The last Summer Olympics averaged 27.5 million viewers. The primetime presentation for the opening ceremony averaged 12.3 million viewers. I just don't think there's any draw right now. I mean, with the U.S. women's soccer team, the Team USA basketball, there's just nothing in or around them that makes it any that has any attraction. I mean, I was reading yesterday a report over at Yahoo where Team USA basketball and Greg Popovich are butting heads because offensively some of the superstars on the team think that it's too the scheme is too much like the San Antonio Spurs and are considering Popovich to be very kind of lazy in his coaching style because of what he's just implementing the Spurs package and what the Spurs look like. And, you know, like they were up 7 with 6 minutes left. You know, I mean, like they were up double digits at the end of the first half. It just, I don't know. It was, it's crazy to see how much there's no interest.
No
in
interest.
what's going on.
And I really do wonder if it's because of the report of like the no fans in the stands, and especially for basketball. Like, we're gonna do this again. Like, especially for some of the guys on Team USA, they just left the finals where you had the Deer District going nuts.
Yeah.
And you see all of like the celebration around playing in these high intense NBA playoff moments. Then you go to Japan and there's nobody there. It's like, bro, empty gym again. Like, we just did this.
I know.
I don't want to do it again. Like, I just wouldn't care. It's hard
Sleep
to.
schedule's all messed up now.
Yeah, now I'm in
Can't
Japan on a
imagine.
cardboard bed, and I don't know how.
Still a little hungover.
Right, definitely. A little sake?
Yeah.
It hits different when you've never had it before.
Daily, we were brought to you over here by Majestic Coffee. Remember, our coffee is locally brewed down here in South Louisiana with Majestic Coffee. You can find them at delicioussips.com, delicioussips.com, online at Majestic Coffee, the brewery over there. All of our water is complimentary of True Blue Water. That is TRUBLUE water.com, truebluewater.com. You can find them online there. And anybody that comes on via the phone lines is Metropolitan Health Group. Remember, you can find Metropolitan Health Group. Real doctors, real solutions. Real doctors, real solutions. Real doctors, real solutions. Metropolitan Health Group. Compliments of Charles Harvey and Jason Ramazan. Ran into Jason Ramazan yesterday. All of the spots are filled for the UCLA LSU
great.
trip. So there will be a trip, hopefully, from Mr.
UCLA might not have a choice.
From Mr. Fun's from Mr. Fun's standpoint,
we're here.
They are there. They will be on the trip.
What about it being moved from LA?
Yeah,
I've been
I
hearing
don't know.
rumors.
I'm hearing rumors
Is
to
that
come to
true?
Baton Rouge. Bring it, baby.
Possibly.
Really? You think it'll come to Baton Rouge?
I don't know if it would go to Baton Rouge. I don't
be
know. I mean,
electric.
we've seen it
That would be
happen.
crazy.
We've seen it happen before. Where I mean, like last season, LSU Missouri was supposed to be here. The game was played at Missouri because of some COVID things. So possibly. But from the Mr. Fun's travel standpoint, the trip is sold out. All of the plans are being made to make the trip the first week of September, and is at this point a go. I talked to him yesterday, and he said for
No refunds.
well, I mean, there would be refunds if it didn't happen. But as of right now, he talked to a couple of people out there, and they seem to believe that at this point they're on track. I got to tell you, I feel like it's against LSU and UCLA right now. I don't see that game going off as it's planned right now, whether that is within 100% capacity, whether that's being played in Los Angeles, whether that's being played on that weekend, whatever it is, it just feels like that there is too much time in between here and now, and so many things are changing that it, hopefully it's not affected. But I don't think that it goes off
It's
in the way
trending
that
in the exact wrong direction. It just really is. And it's like you said, it's too far away.
I know.
But this is all I've been looking forward to after an abysmal season last year. But just even the idea of having a game in Pasadena in the Rose Bowl, full capacity, those uniforms in that stadium.
Yeah.
Post-COVID.
Like it was supposed to be the celebration.
Sunshines and rainbows.
And now it's coming right back around to where it's the opposite of everything that I wanted to happen.
It's a cruel joke.
Yeah.
It is. We're right
It
back
is.
in the thick of it.
It is. I mean, it feels very much like this was a year ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like you're almost in the exact same place after going through a year where you felt like you got out of it.
It's like restarting your computer and it's like 98% and then it turns off and you have to
Yeah.
restart it again.
I feel like I failed the grade. I have to redo 6th grade.
And you got
Yeah.
like a 58, like a 69 in the class.
Yeah, it's like I was close.
Came around me up
Yeah,
one.
and then
No.
then I got tutored. I was ready for the next test, and it turns out no, you weren't.
Right. So I look, man, it feels like this is going to be changed. It does feel, but if you get it at home, is that a win?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
if
that
you
it would
could-
be
Is it?
fun to go to the Rose Bowl, right? That was
No, no,
exciting.
no.
I think, I mean, I want the experience. I
Of
want the
going there.
experience of seeing LSU in the Rose Bowl, playing UCLA in Pasadena.
Well, that's very much one that LSU has always been chasing, right? Like, aside from a national championship, it seems like the cards never lined up for LSU to ever play in the Rose Bowl. Like, even when they did back in the BCS era, it was never the Rose Bowl for some reason. And so it seems like everybody has always wanted to see LSU there or make that trip.
Right.
Like, I would much rather be in Tiger Stadium because I would go to one and not the other. But I would love to see that, just the whole presentation of it all from like
Right.
a perspective of like the call and the sights and the
Absolutely.
sounds would be
No.
awesome. But if you're going to give me a home game, I'll take that.
Sure. I mean, I guess if you can get the home game out of it, and you get another chance to see LSU playing a big. I mean, when's the last time you've seen LSU play a non-conference big-time opponent in Tiger Stadium? You didn't get the Texas game last year. I mean, that would have been one that everybody had circled. But I mean, if you get UCLA in Tiger Stadium in early September, that's a non-conference matchup that ticket buyers and season ticket holders have not had the chance to really get over the last couple of seasons. So if you're able to pick that game up, it's probably a win-win for the LSU fan base. But I think just for the overall experience of the LSU program, people would like to see them playing, against the Western Sky in Saturday afternoon out in California.
How much fun.
It would just be
What a
beautiful.
banner day.
It
Like,
would-
the weather's going to be great. I don't even feel like I'm
Perfect
jinxing it.
weather,
Yeah, it's
I know.
California. Would UCLA sign up for that? I don't think they would come down to Baton Rouge. They would probably have a couple things to say, like, "Oh, we don't mind y'all playing at the Rose Bowl. We're not going to Baton Rouge."
The
Jesus.
same thing.
Or let's just move this thing to Vegas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Like,
what people are saying, right?
I've heard the Vegas rumor
in the Death Star.
in
Would that be
Oakland
the
Raiders.
first game in their new stadium?
Whoa.
It would be the first game with fans.
Yes.
Oh, it would.
Plenty of alcohol.
The NFL would never let that
Plenty of
happen. It's got to be a Monday night, like, Oakland Raiders game. They're not going to let it be an LSU. I mean, they should.
Y'all, I've never been to Vegas.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
Part of me never left.
So I feel like I would really want to make that
Still
trip.
owe money?
I don't know
Kicked
if
out
I'm
about
really
12
missing a
hotels.
whole lot, but I would like to make that trip.
No, that would be a great trip. I mean, that would be another great trip if LSU was to play UCLA at the Death Star. Daily, we are brought to you here on the Jordy Culotta Show by Edward Jones. Remember, our friend Daniel Newman over at Edward Jones is helping us out with our financial advice. He is our financial advisor over there. Let him be yours. If you are over at Exxon, BASF, at Dow, at any of those chemical plants, they can help you out. Daniel Newman can help you out tremendously on advice on what to do with your finances, whether it's 401k, whether it's investments, whether it is anything that you're looking for financial security. Let Daniel Newman help you out today online, or email him at daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Daniel.newman@edwardjones.com is where you can get in touch with him on email. He is located out in central Louisiana over there next to Stabs, so if you want to stop in and see him, you can see him next to Stabs out there in central Louisiana. Edward Jones representative out in that area, Daniel Newman. Daniel.newman@edwardjones.com is where you reach him via email to get in touch with him today. Find him there. We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show. We'll talk to Garrett Temple. 11 years in the league, just finished up with the Chicago Bulls, going back for more. He's in Baton Rouge, getting prepared here in another off season. We'll talk to him about some of the things that's happening in and around the league, like the NBA Finals, Team USA, the Olympics, the draft coming up. Some of his thoughts on the LSU guys going in, like Cam Thomas, with the trade and the Pelicans, where they sit now. Pelicans pick up the 17th pick in the draft after dishing away number 10, number 40, Eric Bledsoe and Steven Adams to the Memphis Grizzlies. They get Jonas Valanciunas, the 17th pick, and the 51st pick. Right there hovering around 17 is Cam Thomas from LSU. On a lot of the mocks, he's 16 through 20, so he's right there in that 17 mark. If the Pelicans are thinking about it, we'll ask. We won't ask Garrett what the Pelicans are thinking, but we'll ask him what he thinks about Cam Thomas going into his rookie season in the NBA when we come back here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Daily driven and brought to you by Go Chevrolet. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, jordy@jordyculotta.show.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. jordy@jordyculotta.show.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in LaPlace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven in live every day, powered by Go Chevrolet. Remember, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Get in touch with Lee Carney, Nick Richard, and the entire crew over there as Go Express Auto Sales, located out in LaPlace, Louisiana, and Go Express, the used car lot, is located over here in Baton Rouge at Florida Boulevard and Sherwood Forest. Last weekend was a great Saturday in South Louisiana, as Sports Academy, one of the great backdrops of Baton Rouge and one of the great stories of Baton Rouge, played host to the Hometown Heroes Camp, which brought together the community, a lot of our kids in our community of Baton Rouge over to the Sports Academy. Brock Cantrell was able to put on a camp that featured all types of familiar faces, including all of the Temples, Collis Temple Jr., CT3, Collis Temple III, and of course Garrett Temple, the NBA veteran and Baton Rouge native who won a couple of state championships at U-High. He was the defensive stalwart on the 2006 team, had a great LSU career, and just finished up year 11 in the NBA with the Chicago Bulls, and is down here in Baton Rouge, of course, going through another offseason, and is kind with his time after working out this morning, already getting his workout in and stopping by with us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. G, it's great to talk to you, man. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Jordy. Always great to be here, man. I'm doing well. It feels good to get a workout in before the sun comes up.
I bet, man. Last weekend, real quick, just for our listeners, I know that that was very cool for my son and his friends that were able to participate in the Hometown Heroes Camp. But for you guys to come back, we saw everybody. Marcus Thornton was there. Jermaine Williams was there. Even guys like Howard Carter and Rudy Macklin were there. Jordy Holtberg, a lot of the old heads. What is it like for you guys to come back and contribute to the community like last Saturday was for the Hometown Heroes Camp, which was very much a success?
Yeah, man. We understand that we probably touched a lot of kids, but honestly, it was our pleasure. It was probably better for us to be able to see our teammates, guys that came before us, and even after us, even though I'm a younger guy, to see a Skylar Mays there, and Chris Bass there, obviously Marcus. But, it was great to see Stanley Roberts, Jermaine, Collis, High C, Rudy. It was great to just be around those guys, see a Jordy Holtberg, 60-something years old, sweating, going through a station with some kids. That was amazing. And to see those kids be engaged with those guys and everybody, it was just a great time all around.
Garrett, how about for you, man? You look fantastic after year 11 in the league. You played a lot of quality minutes with Chicago this past season. You can see the respect that you have from your peers, whether it's on the floor or even in a situation like last Saturday, being around some of your ex-teammates. Where are you professionally? How are you feeling going into another season of NBA basketball?
I feel pretty good, Jordy. Honestly, man. I'm working out a little more than I did last off season, because it was obviously last off season was a different off season. Getting back into the swing of things this off season. Got my guy Dolan Tierney with Hoops and Christ down here to work me out on the court, and then I head over to our friend, both of our friends, Mac Chuilli's place of traction, and get my strength conditioning in. So my body feels really good. Season doesn't start for another month and a half. So I'm interested to see what happens come August 2nd, free agency. But in terms of how I feel physically, I feel really good. Looking forward to another few seasons, hopefully, in this league.
How difficult is it to keep up with the physical demands of being an NBA player now that you are a veteran, that you've been in the league for a while? I don't want to call you old by any means, but the fact that you've run through an NBA schedule now nearly 11 times, that is a lot of wear and tear on your body. How are you physically and just keeping up with the day-to-day grind of that profession?
No question. You go ahead and call me old in terms of NBA standards.
That makes me ancient, bro.
But it's great. I mean, it's my body feels good. I've been fortunate enough, blessed, not to have any major injuries, and I credit Mac again, Chuilli, for keeping me healthy and making sure I get back to full strength in the off season. And then, God willing, that's all, God, that I've been able to stay pretty healthy. And then just a matter of, me taking care of my body. I don't really drink alcohol at all. Never have. I don't really, at this point in my life, the last 4 or 5 years, haven't really gone out, done a lot of stuff. I make sure I get my sleep. I got a whoop band that keeps me, making sure I have the right recovery time and things of that nature. Try to eat pretty right. And so because of all of that, I can squeeze out a few more years if they let me.
Absolutely.
And because they got a lot of guys 19, 20, 21 that are trying to come take my job. So I got to stay on my P's and Q's.
How have you seen the game change in the last couple of years, whether it be from that an influx of new talent to the scheme that's being run on the floor? Is basketball the same game that you came into 11 years ago in the league?
Not at all. Not at all, man. Totally different game. And I think that's why you've seen some of the players kind of, transition out of the NBA. There's not really, honestly, there are not too many power forwards anymore. I played with a guy named Antonio McDyess. That was an all-star, and he was toward the end of his career when I was with him in San Antonio, and he's the prototypical power forward. 6'10", 6'9", could hit the mid-range, but a strong rebound. That guy doesn't exist anymore. That was Brandon Bass. And
right.
Brandon was an amazing pro. Just a great professional. Any time you talk about a mid-range shot, you bring up Brandon Bass, strong rebounder, things of that nature. But those type of guys are not there anymore. And just the physicality. My game is defense. I like being physical when I play defense. That has shifted. You can't be as physical as you want to now because they want to see more points on the board, a more free-flowing game. So you have to adjust to that. And so it's a lot of different things that have changed. Obviously, specific centers. People don't really pass the ball and score in the post as much anymore. It's a lot more ball movement, threes, pick and rolls, and that sort of thing. So it's a lot of different things. I'm glad that I've been able to transition and stay with whatever trend is going on. At the end of the day, defense hasn't changed that much, and competitiveness and coachability. So those are the things that I pride myself on.
You were very familiar with the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo. He was just named MVP of the finals after Garrett, what I believe will go down as one of the great finals performances of all time. I don't know if we respected that in the moment we were watching. I mean, obviously he had 50 in the closeout game, but he had a couple of 40-point performances and some moments, whether it was the lob in Phoenix or the block in Game 3, that will really live on for a long time. What did you make of Milwaukee's championship run, and what are we watching when we see Giannis play?
Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest. I didn't know that they were going to come back and win 4 in a row. I thought Phoenix was in control of the series after those first 2 games, and but the way, as you said, Giannis really turned it on. He was playing amazing the first 2 games, especially Game 2. But to have a Chris Middleton step up the way he did, and then Drew Holiday defensively do what he did, but what Giannis has been able to do on the offensive end, I mean, he's people try to critique him by saying he's not as skilled as other great scorers, but was Shaquille O'Neal as skilled as Kobe Bryant or as skilled as a Tracy McGrady? Maybe not, but he had 3 Finals MVPs and he was the most dominant player of our era. So at the end of the day, Giannis has his dominance in that series was on full display. And whenever you can score 50 and be that efficient in a closeout game for a finals, it definitely should go down as one of the best performances in finals history. No matter how you get your points or what you do, to have 50 and do it on, 25, 30 shots, whatever it was, and then to have the amount of rebounds that he had, and to, the amount of blocks, the defensive plays that he was able to make. I don't care what it looks like to some people. It may not be as pretty. It may not be as pretty as a Steph Curry scoring 50 or Kyrie scoring 50, but it gets the job done, and it definitely is 50 points. So, yeah, you got to put him up there with one of the greatest performances ever in the finals because of his efficiency and what he was able to do and how he was able to dominate.
Gee, can you talk about how you condition the psychological part of your profession? Because when I look at Ben Simmons and I look at the way that he struggled offensively in this playoff run and over the last couple of seasons, really, and then I look at Giannis and his free throw percentage compared to on the road to at home, there's obviously a psychological component that comes down to it. Can you talk about how you condition that as a professional athlete, and when you see those guys going through what they were going through, how you're able to get that right?
Yeah, it's. I mean, everybody is different, Jay. At the end of the day, and everybody has different pressures on them. You know, so it's difficult. I mean, I had a older player once tell me, pressure is pressure. Everybody has it, but the ones that can really withstand the pressure are the ones that have put the work in there. Because at the end of the day, your work shines through by how you produce more times than not. So it's difficult because of the amount of pressure that people have on them. You know, basketball is a game of confidence. I was talking to that with my guy earlier this morning. It's a game of confidence. If you don't have confidence, if you lose confidence in a certain area, it's really tough to gain it back during the game or even during, the next couple of games. More times than not, you got to gain that back in the summertime. So if you lose that confidence, it's a struggle. In terms of home and away, it's just the comfortability factor.
Yeah.
It's something. It's crazy. Like, I actually feel I like playing on the road, and it's not that I like the boos and whatnot. It's just a matter of I like kind of the us against the world type mentality, just me and my teammates. But a lot of guys, more times than not, are more inclined to play better, shoot better, score better when they're able to, lay in their own bed. They have their family there to cheer them on. The crowd is going to be behind them. So I think that has a lot to do with what happens in playoffs, especially, and what happens with Giannis. Nobody's counting to 12.
Right.
14. He's shooting his free throws. They just let him do his thing. Obviously that city loves him. But I'm interested to see how Ben, comes back from this playoff experience. I would love to see him. Obviously, Giannis doesn't have a great jumper in terms of a three-pointer, but his mid-range game has really grown. And you were able to see that in the clutch moments. When they stopped him from getting to the basket, instead of charging like he was doing last year, he was stopping, shooting fadeaways, shooting middies. They were going in more times than not. So, I'm anxious to see how Ben reacts, and I would love to see him, add that piece to his game.
How are you watching the Olympics? What do you think of this Olympic team when you watch them play?
So I got my teammate on there, Zach LaVine, obviously.
Yeah.
I wish my former teammate was able to play. I think he would bring another dimension. He's, one of the best scorers in the league, and Bradley Beal. Mm-hmm. I was hurt to see him not be able to go and have his first Olympic, experience. But I think the first thing that popped in my head is they're playing the game that I saw against France, they were playing a little lackadaisical, as if eventually we're going to win this game. It is what it is. There were two plays that come in my head right now when I think about it. I can't remember who saved the ball, but somebody saved it. The ball was going out of bounds. I want to say Dame was near the ball. A French guy saved the ball, and he to Rudy Gobert, he caught it, dunked it. It was in the middle of the second quarter, so nobody probably would have thought of anything. And then later on in the fourth quarter, the three-pointer that Evan Fournier hit for them to take the lead, Yabusele jumped out of bounds. The ball went through three American players. He ran between all three of them, saved it out of bounds in front of their bench to Evan Fournier for the three that put them up, and they kept that lead from there. And that just is a microcosm of the amount of effort that they've been, in my opinion, that they've been putting in. It's a little more relaxed and not a sense of we got to go get it.
Last one, I'll get you out of here. Cam Thomas looks like he's going to be a top 20 pick tomorrow night or Thursday night in the NBA draft. Obviously, he played at your former school at LSU. When you see Cam play, how do you see his game translating to your level?
Man, Cam is a scorer. And at the end of the day, whenever you can put that ball in the bucket at a high level the way he can, from deep and a lot of different ways, he's not just a shooter. He's not just a mid-range guy. He's not just a guy that gets to the basket. He can really score from 3 different levels. And for him to be able to do that, and he's done that at every level that he's played. So more times than not, when it's not a one-hit wonder type guy, when it's a guy that has shown this is what he can do, more times than not, it's going to translate well into the NBA. He's a little undersized for a two-guard, but honestly, the prototypical two-guard is kind of, we talk about stuff, so many changes in the league now. You play a lot of two-guard, three-guard lineups now, so he'll be fine there. I think the big thing with him is the defensive end, if he's willing to put in the work, because he probably won't come in and be the go-to guy or even like a six-man go-to guy right away, depending on who he gets drafted to. So coaches will really want to see him compete on the defensive end, because as long as he competes on the defensive end, they're not worried about his offense. He's going to take care of that. So I'm really anxious to see him go to a great situation so he can thrive and be that scorer that he's always been. I'm looking forward to maybe defending him a little bit next year.
Fun watching you play, man. It's been great watching your career get to where it is now, and with still a couple of years left in the tank. Pull for you every single night that you're out there. Thank you, as always, for your time, and great seeing you last weekend, my friend.
Appreciate it, Jordy. Great seeing you, brother.
All right, man. There is Garrett Temple checking in here this morning, talking a little NBA, little Olympics there from the 11-year vet, Garrett Temple of the NBA. Just finished up last season with the Chicago Bulls, as he said there in early August. Free agency will hit. He will, I imagine he'll be on the roster for the next couple of years. He's just too good in the locker room, and he's too good on the floor. I don't want to discount his game at all, because if you look at the way that he's impacted the Bulls on the floor, it looks like it's been just as much on the floor as it's been in the locker room. One of the great leaders that has come out of our city, and one of the great characters that has come out of LSU basketball, Garrett Temple there with a couple of minutes here on the Jordy Culotta Show. So very much appreciate him for stopping by here. That conversation was brought to you by Go Flow IV and Spa, located right here in Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway at 7970 Jefferson Highway. They are on social media, on Instagram and Facebook at Go Flow IV. At Go Flow IV, you can get memberships. They have membership plans that are available. They sell them at 3-month, 6-month, and annual membership plans, which can get you in to Go Flow IV for your weekly, every other week, however you want to set up the schedule to get your IVs, whether it's the booster, which helps you with your immune system, some vitamin D, some vitamin C, some zinc, or the athletic performance cocktail that they offer, which is B12, B5, magnesium. Great selections over at Go Flow IV and Spa. See how they can help you out today. Find them on social media. Find them online at GoFlowIV.com. GoFlowIV.com.
Isn't it time for us to get stuck
Yes,
again?
this week.
Of course,
You guys.
you two.
Yes.
Us.
Do you think that they would go to a tailgate and like do like
100%.
a Go
Yeah,
Flow
I
IV
think we
tailgate?
100%. Yeah, we
About
talked
that.
about that. Yeah, we talked about that. 100%. We're going to get him
I
in.
know, right?
We're going to get him in the studio.
Yeah, we all get stuck.
Yeah.
Let's all get
Yeah, right,
stuck.
right.
Bust me up.
Let's
Absolutely.
go. Beat me up,
Absolutely.
Scotty.
Yes, indeed. Look at that. A little more enthusiasm
the job.
in the studio here. Next couple of minutes, we're going to talk to Billy Liucci. Liucci is, of course, from TexAgs. He covers Texas A&M. We will ask him, of course, about the story that is going through all out college sports right now, which everybody is reacting to. And yesterday, there was more news to this as Texas and Oklahoma have declined the renewal of their media rights in 2025. So really the first step of Texas and Oklahoma joining the SEC went down yesterday, as this could, the Longhorns and the Sooners really could formally ask to join the conference this week. All you need is 3/4 majority of SEC presidents and chancellors to vote. So that would be 11 of the 14 would be required to vote this in to get Texas and Oklahoma into the conference. And sources believe that the SEC schools will unanimously allow this vote to go down.
after what we talked about yesterday. I don't know if they should or not, but do you think
it's
this thing even makes it to 2024, 2020, like through the bill, like their grant of rights or whatever? There's no way it
schools
have
goes that
so
long.
much
They have to
money.
pay $80 million penalty though for
That's
leaving
nothing.
the conference early.
That's
So
nothing to
I
me.
don't think that they would leave. It's not going to happen this year.
They have to
No,
give
I know
18
that.
months notice.
So
is the rule.
I think that they're going to be in the conference next year.
I think it's next year too.
I really do. I think that there's too much momentum, and the story is too big, and really and truly, the Big 12 will be a broken ship that they're going to want to bail, and the $80 million, that would be if they left now.
Yeah.
The $80 million per school, that would go down. It would go down to 40 next year.
I think so. And they also read that if the Big 12 dissolves and everyone leaves, then that means no school will have to pay the penalty.
Oh, really?
So that like wipes it out for everyone. Yeah.
So I mean, we'll see. So 2025 is when the deal expires.
There's no way they
I don't
last that long.
I don't think that it makes it to 2025. I think they
so
do go.
toxic right now.
I think they do go through this season, and they see how toxic this season is, and you see all the pushback on the field and how much this story is going to dominate throughout every weekend of Texas and Oklahoma playing.
Can you imagine?
I mean, every single week of every game,
yeah.
it'll be future SEC members. Oklahoma and Texas are taking on X this weekend. I mean,
With
it's
Gus Johnson on the call talking about it for
Electric.
4 hours.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't have a better spokesperson if you're like Texas and Oklahoma trying to get to the SEC. But if you're the Big 12, like, can he please not talk about it the way he is right now? Like, there's no way it lasts 3 years, because that would just be what a conversation piece it would have to be. Like, that's all they would talk about the entire time. It would take away from the game.
so. It is. Yeah, I don't think that. I think that it happens next year. I mean, I really do. I think that Texas and Oklahoma are in the SEC within the next calendar year.
Those boosters, there's so much money. The Texas Endowment, even Oklahoma, the Gaylord family, there's so much money.
I agree. I
That's nothing to them.
really and truly, I thought that with the momentum that this story had going into this week, I thought that they were
Gonna shoehorn now?
like gonna try to jump in this thing
What happens to the
immediately.
Longhorn Network?
Huh?
What happens to the Longhorn Network?
Dissolves. I mean, it goes away.
telling ya.
It has to. It has to, because I mean, the reason why this is all happening is because of the SEC network.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's where all of the money is coming from. I mean, the majority of the money is coming from the SEC network. So the SEC is not going to look at Texas and say, "Hey, yeah, come aboard and bring your television station with you." I mean, it's going to be, "Hey, look, are you in? Or are you out? We're in, but you can't bring your TV station." Okay, and that's, as we laid out yesterday, that is a sign of just how lucrative this deal is for schools like Texas and Oklahoma. I mean, the Longhorn Network is, when you just look at the money that is guaranteed through the life of this contract to which it's signed right now. I mean, Texas is walking away from $600 million. I mean, there has to be something on the other side of the hill that's saying, "Hey, look,
SEC contract.
that $600 million is not nothing to what you can cash in if you're a member of the Southeastern Conference." And
When
obviously,
does the,
Texas has made the decision to say, "Hey, look, forget that Longhorn Network. We need to get to the Southeastern Conference."
When does the SEC network contract expire?
Well, they just signed a 10-year deal with ESPN for $1 billion.
I'm just waiting for that streaming money when a streaming service offers a conference. That's gonna be so much.
That should be coming pretty soon.
Maybe that's what
So they're
Texas
saying
is
that
thinking
the
too.
Big 12 is
Bring
trying
in
to
the
offer
trucks.
additional revenue shares to keep them there. So they would go from $37 million a year to $56 million a year.
Just Texas,
And Oklahoma.
Texas and
Just all of
Oklahoma.
them?
Yeah.
I mean, if
that's
you're the
what they're
TV.
coming up with to try to keep them. That's what the Big 12 is coming up with.
If you're the Big 12, you have to try everything
you're
you
throwing
can,
Hail Marys.
but you
Yeah,
know that nothing's going to work.
Well, I mean,
Like,
it's
trying.
The
I'll get
deal's
new
done.
boobs. Like,
Yeah.
The deal is done.
Yes.
I mean, it's been 6 months in discussion. I mean, if anything, Ross Bjork had, his reaction showed that they had no idea that this stuff was so far down the line. Last Wednesday, when he was asked about this, he still thought that he had a chance to kind of prohibit this from happening, like, throwing up a barrier of this even going down. But I mean, come to find out, this thing is way down the road.
I'm shocked that this has been in the works for 6 months and we haven't heard a
social-
whisper.
how? Like,
But in the age of social
blood oath,
media,
blood oath.
exactly in the age of social media, you would think that something would leak. Somebody
would.
knew something, And this story just popped.
Pretty amazing.
Like that, like old school news, like when you were plugged up to when you had a rotary phone. Like, I can't believe that they were able to do this in the shadows the way they were.
Yeah.
Especially with the amount of people that would be affected by this, right? I mean, like,
You're dissolving a conference.
and
Yeah,
you
the TV
are
network.
TV network.
You're taking one of your own in Texas A&M, and the SEC knows how insecure Texas A&M
You saw it on
is
Wednesday.
over Texas,
Yeah, everyone saw it.
right? Like, I mean, like, and they didn't mention a peep to that school. I mean, you got to imagine that Ross Bjork would have some
Somebody.
sense of an idea that they're even in discussion. Like, forget that they're down the line and this is about to happen. Like, that they have opened up discussion, and the possibility of Texas joining the league is promising. You know, like, that could happen, because his reaction was, that's not going to happen. We've always said that we wanted to be the only SEC school. That's why we're here. Well, Ross, it's not going to go down like that, because Texas is on the doorstep and the deal's just about done.
Rings on her finger.
Yeah, right. So it is. It'll be crazy to see how this happens. And Brandon Hollingsworth brings up a good point. You don't break up with your girlfriend and then live together for 2 years afterwards,
That's true, yeah.
know,
What are we going to talk about?
right? I mean,
So,
like, it's going to be super
Netflix.
awkward, for sure. But I think that they don't last. I mean, it's not going to last 2 years. This deal should
If
probably
I'm
be.
the ACC, pick off West Virginia. Pick them off. That
Oh,
conference
yeah.
is going to die.
Yeah, I mean, and if I'm West Virginia, I'm looking. You know what I mean? If I'm somebody in the Big 12, I'm looking for life somewhere else.
TCU, you got that
Yeah,
Dallas
they all
money.
have to be.
Oklahoma State. I mean, schools like that. Iowa State. I mean, like, all of these schools, they're looking for a lifeline.
They're looking for a home.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking for
SEC.
a paycheck.
How many schools would the SEC take? Like, what is there a number where they'd be like, yeah, we'll go to 24 if you want West Virginia, if you want TCU, if you want Clemson, if you want Miami? Would they expand that much, or are they trying to be like, look, 16 we're capped?
No.
I don't think so. I think that there's potential here to go to. I'm telling you, I think it looks like the NFL. I think that college football is its own governing body, is its own structure. It operates away from the rest of collegiate athletics.
Yep.
And that the SEC, whether it's called the Southeastern Conference or whether it goes to a new name, is the authority. And I don't see them stopping at 16. I don't see them stopping at 24. I may not even see them stopping at 32. I mean, I think that ultimately you're talking about a brand so powerful that it attracts everybody who is anybody who is everybody within college football, within the sport, and you just make the championship series within.
It's
You
like
know, I mean-
wrestling back in the day. There's all these different leagues, and the WWE just bought everybody out. Like, one shark just ate another little shark, and then you got that. It's kind of what the SEC's doing.
Do you think that they go to like a football only type SEC deal?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it'd only be football. So how would you do basketball and the other sports like that? Where if you take on West Virginia just at football, then what league do they play in for basketball? Do they keep
Notre Dame effect.
Right.
I'm not smart enough to figure that out.
Me either.
But
That would be a mess.
That's what I'm saying. It
I
gets so
know.
messy if we
I
go.
mean,
'Cause
So
this is a football deal. Like, it's 100% a football
100%
thing.
a football thing. And if it's going to be that, then just cut football out and let it be its own island. And what happens afterwards, I don't know. I don't know how you structure and how you get everybody on the same playing field and how you structurally set that up from an SEC standpoint. But it's, to me, this is a football only decision, and the potential of football being an NFL type property at the college level makes a lot of
enticing.
sense.
Did Mark Emmert
It makes
say
a lot of
anything yet?
sense. Nothing.
No, we got a raise and went to the Bahamas.
Nothing.
He doesn't give a
Nothing.
shit.
He's
I
on
mean,
his boat right now.
He's being called out and almost being mocked by Sankey at this part.
I think he's taking his
The
job in
safety
front of
I
him.
mean, he's just kind of stripping it away from him. I mean, his comments to Dellinger in the SI piece, his comments to open up SEC Media Day. I mean, he sees Mark Emmert in the NCAA as no threat. You know what I mean?
Saban's
just-
more powerful.
Yeah, for sure.
Mark Emmert for sure, and probably almost Greg Sankey.
But Mark Emmert knows that.
He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He just doesn't care. But if you keep it the way it is right now with Oklahoma and Texas, the only two joining, then I would say basketball and baseball got stronger. But if you
Yes.
dive deeper into those waters, then it dilutes the product. It dilutes your basketball and baseball. So that's what I'm wondering, if there's like a hard cap to where, look, we just got the SEC stronger as a whole. Like now basketball is better, football is way better, and then baseball is good. Baseball is good. And Texas is a great team that's super regional. So that's what I'm wondering, if they might cap it here and just be like, look, we're just going to be this preeminent conference that you just don't want anything to do with. Yes, right.
The possibilities are endless right now.
They really are.
I mean, really,
It's
when you
Greg
think
Sankey's
about
world, and we're living
it,
in it.
absolutely is. Billy Liucci, who's over at TexAgs, he covers Texas A&M. He is the authority for Texas A&M. If you think Texas A&M athletics, you probably know Billy Liucci. We will talk to him next here and get his thoughts on the Jordy Culotta Show, as we will catch up with Lucci next here, where daily we are brought to you by A-Bear Specialty Meats. Remember, over at A-Bear Specialty Meats, they've got great specials on lunch. If you want to stop by today and see them in Prairieville or in Baton Rouge, check them out on Jefferson Highway or out in the Dutchtown Shopping Center in Prairieville. Check them out in both locations. They've got a freezer full of great selections for you to take home tonight, whether it's hamburgers, steaks, the deboned stuffed chicken, which they're famous for. You can find all of that over there. Stop in and check them out at lunch today. In Baton Rouge, there's a seafood po' boy, whether it's a shrimp or a catfish, a great chili dog with some homemade chili on it. It's a chicken salad sandwich that's now on the menu with their great selections of there right in the deli, like boudin balls and crackling. Yeah, I have.
Good?
It is fantastic. I actually have some of the chicken salad in my
Maybe you need to bring that out here.
in my refrigerator. That is.
Oh, did it make it to the fridge?
So good.
Thank
It
God
is
it
That
so
would
made
be
it to the
very
fridge.
impressive for Jordy.
Yes.
We'll soon know if it didn't
Yeah.
make it to the fridge.
I'll be right back.
See y'all on Thursday.
Billy Liucci next here from TexAgs. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, jordy@jordyculotta.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. jordy@jordyculotta.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Stop in and see the boys over there, whether it's Lee Carney, Nick Richard. Let them put you into a new model, or if you're looking for a used model, over at Go Express Auto Sales. We were down at SEC Media Day last week. Of course, the benefit of that event is running into all of your partners from around the conference, as we see everybody from around the SEC schools. We were only in on Monday, which LSU was featured on the opening day, so we didn't get to run into the TexAgs crew. Some of my favorite, the executive editor and co-owner over there at TexAgs is Billy Liucci, as he was down in Hoover last weekend. And so many stories in college football right now, Luch. It is obvious that we begin on the biggest story of this college football offseason, and that, of course, is what are your thoughts of Shane Beamer in year one at South Carolina? Oh no! Oh no!
What a great setup too!
It was such a great setup. It was such a great setup. Oh, we had it in the air. We couldn't spike it.
Couldn't go down the alley.
Man, we couldn't finish.
That might be on Billy.
We could not finish, as we're ringing here for Billy Liucci.
I hope it's okay.
Yeah, me too.
Billy seems like a good
happened,
guy.
Luch?
I'm looking at his Twitter
Anyways,
right
Joe
now.
Flacco was on the list for ugliest quarterbacks.
Ooh, Flacco's a good one.
I don't think Flacco's ugly.
They put
Pull up
Eli
a
number
picture.
2.
Pull up a picture. People are like, what?
Yeah,
I don't
sorry.
think they were part of that conversation.
Now they are.
Like, where did that come
He's
from?
not ugly.
No, he's not ugly. I think he's attractive.
Yeah, Joe Flacco's good looking.
Yeah. That's kinda
So yeah, if y'all want to be tuned into what we were talking about in the
Whoa,
break,
yeah.
it was, can you name an ugly quarterback that's actually been successful? Like if you could find, I couldn't even name
Really
5.
got Mike Lennon.
No,
Yeah,
no.
but I'm saying, no,
named it.
successful.
It's Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning's not ugly.
He is unattractive.
Because you
They
have
said
to,
Eli. Eli was number 2.
you
He's
have to
unattractive.
combine personality also in this because
Yeah.
I didn't know we were combining
well,
personality.
yeah, just all around
Andrew Luck.
not ugly, not great looking, but not
Okay.
ugly.
Nick Foles.
Well, I'm not doing it on personality.
Well, he's got intangibles that people want to, that seem to mention all the time. But I don't know if there's like actual.
Frat Stafford.
Peyton's not ugly. You have to understand how cool he is, and he's one of the funniest
Show
people.
Lloyd that picture,
I just
please.
saw him. I look just
He
like him.
is
I understand
cool.
the forehead thing. I get it. I have
Do
one.
not look like Peyton Manning in any way.
You throw like one.
I've never even thought
Young
about
Peyton.
your forehead, but that's all I think about when I look at Peyton Manning.
Well, because he has
Forehead.
the helmet, he gets the red spot.
There is an article I looked up in Psychology Today that says top NFL quarterbacks have more attractive faces.
So you draft
So
pretty.
it's
Joe
a
Burrow.
thing.
Joe
It's a
Burrow's gonna be.
thing.
It's a lock.
And, well, I think it probably stems from like being in a
Doug Williams. Someone
All-
said Big Ben.
all the way. He's good looking, but he's just fat.
Yeah.
But it goes probably all the way back to when they're like 7 or 8 years old. Whenever
Yeah,
they're
it does.
the most popular kid in school, you're the quarterback, you're athletic, and then you turn out to be
Let's
pretty
be
good
right back.
looking.
You're
Right
right.
back.
Okay.
Let me come right.
You don't want to do the segment
Y'all
anymore?
hold this. Y'all hold this.
Where's Billy?
Y'all hold this.
We,
All right, we're going to commercial.
Are we
Let me do
going to
something.
commercial?
Yeah, y'all can stay here.
I hope he's okay.
Oh no.
What if Lucci's dead?
I did.
And it
I
happened
did.
like while we were on the phone with him. No, y'all, that's morbid. We shouldn't
Yeah,
say that.
Lloyd, don't say
I
that.
feel like I went, you
Lloyd,
sucked
just
me
say
right into
You
it,
kinda-
though.
You put the pieces together.
I'm just
And
saying, this is
maybe-
weird.
You sucked me right into it.
Maybe he's coming in live.
Lucci's not here.
Okay, Jeff Hostetler. Hostetler.
He's got a porn stash.
He's
What's he
one
doing
of the
playing football?
ugliest QBs of all time, it says. It does say he looks like a 70s adult film star gone wrong.
Troy Aikman. Someone said, but Troy Aikman looks like the white Jay-Z.
He does. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Have you seen that picture where they compare him right next to each other? It's unbelievable how much he does look like they just changed his color. They just
Kyle
changed.
Orton.
Kyle Orton.
No.
Yeah.
Certified frat star.
But I've heard all-time cool guy.
He is cool. He does look like
Show the
Jay-Z.
camera.
Oh my god, he does look like a white Jay-Z. That's insane.
Wait, guys, no, that guy's like actually not dead.
Unbelievable.
Like, please.
Look, they did a split face.
Oh, that's weird. That is really weird.
What if they're the same person?
What if it is the same?
What if it is?
What if he's been reincarnated?
Oh.
Well, JC's still alive.
Yeah, who's dead in that picture?
Neither one of them yet, but
What do you mean? How did they be reincarnated
no,
then?
dude, why do they look so much alike? All right, we'll go to break and we'll come back because I guess Billy's
I'm still
dead.
looking up ugly QBs.
We'll come back with a list.
Yeah, I hope
have
that
the
guy
list.
just
I'm
didn't
still
die
going.
live.
We'll see if Billy's dead. All right.
Scared.
Jordy Culotta
Okay,
Show.
we'll be right back.
Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, jordy@jordyculotta.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. jordy@jordyculotta.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard.
Liucci.
All right, we got it all figured out. Holy shit. We have been talking and texting Bill Martin, the sports information director at Tennessee. And that's why he freaked out and panicked when we introduced him on the interview. He's like, bro, you kept calling me Billy Liucci, so I wanted to hang up because I didn't want it to be awkward. I was calling the wrong guy.
I don't know if that made it worse or better.
Oh, God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Now we can catch up with the good-looking Italian over in College Station who runs TexAgs. He is the CEO over there, the man, Billy Liucci. We were down at SEC Media Day last week, and we're looking forward to catching up with our crew. We were in different days, and Luch was down there, so we didn't get to catch up. But now we're able to link up in this interview, Billy. Wow. Good morning. I'm sorry. How are you, buddy?
It's good, and I'm sorry I missed you. But, yeah, I was just sitting there kind of laying around. I had a late night of just watching Netflix, and I was like, wait, why is my face on here? And then I go, and I read it, and I was like, man, I know I didn't agree to some 8 a.m. interview and forget. And then I was like, I know I wouldn't have forgotten talking to Jordy, of all people. And then right then I just called you back because I saw that 225 call me. I was like, I'm not answering that crap. So it was like a Woodward burner phone or something.
I'm already down bad enough, dude.
I mean, Billy Martin is like, dude, what are you doing? Leave me alone.
How are you guys?
I'm good, buddy. How are you, man? We missed you at SEC Media Day last week, and the story while we were there was name, image, and likeness and transfer portal, and Greg Sankey took the podium, and he was going at Emmert a little bit. He went at him in the Ross Dellinger piece as well.
Yeah.
But now here we are with conference realignment being the talk of the sport. And College Station kind of being a backdrop of that or a piece of that. Where are you now after? Where is Texas A&M now after yesterday's news of Texas and Oklahoma not renewing the media rights, and it looks inevitable now that they're going to join the league?
Yeah, I think Aggies at first the reaction was very visceral, very emotional. They were pissed, and it was Aggie fans, but even the A&M contingent, which that's something that I think they're digging into up here. That everybody's made a big deal about this Regents meeting. They're not going to go try to sue the SEC or execute some sort of discovery to find out what was going on. Now it's to the point of like, okay, where was the breakdown in communication on our end? Why were people surprised by this who shouldn't have been at A&M? And that's what I think they're digging into right now, and that's what this is about. I think they've accepted the move. I think I'd expect them to vote in favor of it. As for A&M fans, you guys probably have a little bit better feel for this than most around the SEC, but a couple things at play was, number one, not just for the fans, but the decision makers. They were told that Texas would not ever get into this conference without A&M's approval. Now, on that front, times change. I get that. I do. But because of that, I do think there wouldn't have been anything wrong with Sankey sitting down with the biggest decision maker at A&M, whether that be the president or whether that be the chancellor, and saying, look, this is what we're going to do. We've heard your gripes. We understand. We're going to work with you to make things as right as we can. But the college football world's changed, and it's going to continue to change. And for us to stay out in front of it, we need to do this, and we're going to do it. And you guys are going to get on board. Like, that's how it would have gone, And that you guys know that's the way the SEC works. But that part, okay. But the second part of it is, I think what people don't understand is how much Aggies hate Texas.
Uh-huh.
And the reason why they hate Texas so much is twofold. Number one, they've seen what they do to conferences. And I will say, word of warning to the SEC. I know everyone in this league thinks that they're not going to come in here and do anything with us. We got LSU and Georgia and Florida and Alabama. Like, they're not going to come in here and have their way. They are a manipulative snake, like a movie villain that you can't root out, and you've let them in the door now. I'm telling you, ask Nebraska, ask Missouri, ask A&M, ask Colorado, Ask Tech, Baylor, TCU, ask U of H, who they've kept out of the Big 12. History will tell you. So that part of it as well, but Aggies just really don't like Texas. And the reason why is these guys literally think that the SEC is overrated. You look at the way A&M came into the league, and it was like chip on the shoulder, something to prove. They don't think we're good enough. Texas is going to come in here cocky, arrogant. They've been talking for 10 years. They're already talking about how the league's overrated. It's just also this whole narrative that they've spun for a while that A&M's scared to play them, scared to let them in. A&M didn't want to play you because A&M's schedule included LSU, Bama, Auburn, Georgia, Florida, Clemson, soon to be Notre Dame. They don't need to add you. Texas needed A&M on that schedule. They needed A&M every other year on their home schedule. If Texas and A&M split 4 games, Texas came out the winner in it. So it was just that was why the Aggies didn't want to play them. For a team that has finished with the 6th best record in the Big 12 over the last 10 years, team that was going to hire Urban Meyer, they were going to hire Nick Saban. Instead, they hired Charlie Strong, Tom Herman, and Steve Sarkisian. They're still that cocky, and they've still spun a national narrative that A&M's scared to play them. Aggies aren't scared of them. They just don't like them. And pretty soon, the rest of the SEC is going to understand that.
When do you believe this happens? Do you believe this is waits until 2025, or is this going to be before then?
I'm going to go against what I've been told, and I'm going to say I think it'll be next year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, well, yeah, and maybe that's just me being kind of like, annoyed by the whole situation, development, but my initial thing I really thought was 23.
Uh-huh.
So what I really think is a year, and then they come in. I know the Longhorns and Sooners want in ASAP. The best thing for both of them would be to come in. Would be to come in after another year. Like the longer they can wait, the better. Because here's the thing, and everybody points to A&M's first year. Well, they did this with Johnny. Yeah, A&M had a transcendent quarterback. They came in on a year where the league really wasn't that good if you go back and look at it.
Yeah.
And they had a transcendent QB. And guess what? In their first 2 years in the conference, with 3 first-round linemen, with Johnny Manziel, with Mike Evans, they lost 6 games in the conference in 2 years. If they wouldn't have had Johnny and Mike and those guys, even just Johnny, it would have been rough. And that once those guys left, they settled into an 8-5 pattern, which is fine. A lot of people thought A&M was going to get eaten alive. They never did. But they settled into an 8-5 pattern. I think for Texas, that's best case right now, especially if they come in 22. But I think it'll be 23. But I'll tell you, I've talked to people I trust in the SEC, on the SEC side, and they said they're not getting in. Maybe they shave a year or 2 off of that. But I have a hard time believing. I think Texas would pay up that money. I don't know how OU could. But I don't think they realize it today. OU might end up being the biggest loser in this deal.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get it in Norman. They've been operating in a conference where they've had infinitely more talent than everyone they play in the league. If they would have come into the SEC when A&M did, first of all, that first year, the Aggies beat them by 4 touchdowns in the Cotton Bowl. Had they come in back then, I don't think Oklahoma plays for a conference championship, much less wins one. I mean, to me, OU and Texas, are going to be – OU will be one of about, 6 in this league. Texas, best case scenario, they're one. I'm talking about for the next decade or so. Texas, to me, best case scenario, they're one of about 7 or 8, depending if you want to include Auburn and give them the benefit of the doubt right now. So again, they're going to have to adjust their expectations. I don't know much, but I know I watched Big 12 football for
16 years when the Aggies were in it, and I've watched SEC football for 10. And I feel like I'm one of those. You guys have all probably talked to those coaches that leave the SEC and go coach somewhere else, or come to the SEC from another league. And we've had, Trevor Knight was a quarterback at A&M. I always loved talking to Trevor about the difference, and he was a QB that went into the Sugar Bowl and beat Alabama.
Yeah.
And you hear these guys talk about the difference in the conference, and they don't get it. I mean, A&M's where they need to be on both lines of scrimmage. It takes a while. I remember that first year A&M played LSU, and Coach Sumlin told Les Miles, "God, this is what we want to look like one day."
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going to Starkville with A&M having 3 first-rounders on the O-line, and the Mississippi State lines of scrimmage just looked different. So that it takes a while to get to that point. To me, their best bet would be to hold off a little bit, but they seem to be tripping all over themselves to get in. And contrary to what they think in Austin, I think A&M fans and fans around the SEC are like, get here as quick as you can. Now that it's official, get here as quick as you can.
Billy, what was the biggest advantage that Texas A&M saw with the SEC logo and brand behind their university's name? What's the biggest advantage of the SEC?
I think there were two. First off, it's the best conference. It's the best brand visibility. The games, what A&M was playing every year versus what they had been playing. I mean, you have to understand, in the Big 12, you're going to Lawrence, Kansas. I mean, I cover the team, and now back then times were a little different, but I cover the team, and I wasn't jumping on a plane to go to Lawrence or Manhattan or Ames, Iowa. You go once, and it's like, okay, I don't need to go back to this. And those settings, Waco, Texas, and teams that, just to be perfectly honest, the country doesn't care about at any level. Now, yes, Iowa State this year, they're going to be good, and they've got Purdy and Brees Hall. Like that, that's a team worth watching, but that is the exception, not the rule. Hell, Kansas was in an Orange Bowl under Mark Mangino 15 years ago. But generally, people around the country don't care about those teams. That football in that part of the country is no longer really credible. Kansas State and Nebraska are not what they used to be. It's just OU. So that is number one. The games are better. The home games. You look at the schedules every year and look what A&M's got now. So ticket sales are part of it. But the biggest part, or as big a part of anything, is A&M just saw it as an opportunity to kind of rebrand themselves. And yeah, a lot of it had to do with let's get away from Texas, because for all I've just said about them, they are a juggernaut in terms of their brand and the shadow that they cast. They just are. I mean, that's there's only a handful of those in college athletics, and Texas and the Longhorns certainly fit that bill. So they ran the league. They ran the Big 12. It was a detriment to everyone besides them. And A&M was one of the halves. But behind Texas and OU, it was A&M, and then everybody else was way, way back. But it was still Texas's league, Texas's conference. It wasn't. Texas is going to go into this new league in OU, and they're going to make the same money that Vandy makes, from the conference. And that wasn't that way in the Big 12. Decisions did not work that way. So I think A&M, just to get out of it, and they saw an opportunity. In the days of branding and social media and everybody, they saw an opportunity to reinvent themselves, and I think it's worked like a damn charm. It couldn't have worked out better. If you look at, like I said, I've been doing this, so I've done it for a long time before A&M went to the SEC. A&M's image and perception and their standing and status in college football is so much different. And I know right now it doesn't seem like you've got everyone around the country that doesn't understand the whole dynamic of this thing, laughing at A&M's reaction. And hey, the SEC put A&M in the corner. And I do think the Aggies should have reacted different. I don't mind the fans, but I think the reaction
from the decision makers at A&M, and to have to come back and put out statements saying you're okay with it means that you made a big deal about not being okay with it. I think they should have been more up and down the chain aware of what's going on. So from that standpoint, I think it was mishandled. But the reality is, Texas A&M, you guys were at Media Days, and I was there after that. This was a year where I thought, in 10 years, I hadn't heard A&M talked about more as a real contender.
No doubt.
Jimbo Fisher, you guys know, he's royalty, football royalty in this part of the country. A&M is absolutely respected. They're talked about, with LSU, with Florida, with Georgia, as that handful of teams that can contend for a title. And it's disappointing to me that it came out on that day that A&M was up there, because the buildup for A&M was really nice, and it was the best I've seen in 10 years. And I was sitting there going, okay, A&M's got a lot of respect in this league as a program. Their head coach, people agree they're building. They're becoming something significant. You could tell ADs and media around the league felt that way. And then this news breaks, and then A&M, knee jerks to it, and the narrative begins. So I was a little disappointed in that. But at the end of the day, I also know media days don't matter. Nobody gives a damn when it's over. So this is a big season. This big season for A&M. I know you guys in Baton Rouge are probably saying the same thing. And I'll tell you what, the A&M LSU dynamic, we know how interesting it is with the coaches flip-flopping and Scott Woodward and the 7 overtimes and then 50-7, and then, just the way this thing's gone in the last couple of years. That game to me is going to be fascinating, because I'm sitting here looking at it going, man, that could be with a lot at stake. That could be with a lot at stake at season's end, or it could be where Ed O is like, he better beat A&M because this is not good, or it could be where A&M, you're going, man, they were supposed to be a lot better. If they don't win this one, they end the season with, I don't know, it's 4 losses or something. Like, we were expecting progress, and now they've backslid a little bit. They have all these high draft picks, and Texas and OU are coming in. So it's a big year for both programs, and I think that game is going to be really significant, whether they're both really good, whether one of them is, or whether they're both underperforming. It's going to be as big a one as there's been between the two in a while.
Billy Liucci joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We're presented daily by Go Chevrolet. Check out Billy Liucci and his work on Twitter. At Billy Liucci, he is the editor and co-owner of TexAgs.com, the most trusted source for Texas A&M football news, going on 2 decades now, and is a fantastic follow on Twitter. Yesterday we laid it out on name, image, and likeness recruiting, Billy, and I think that the big markets, Miami with the example they showed a couple of weeks ago in a local business paying everybody on scholarship their name, image, and likeness contracts to college towns like Tuscaloosa, which has a lot of money, to College Station, which has a ton of money, to Austin having a lot of money, and that being a very much a benefit on the recruiting trail. How do you see recruiting changing in today's landscape of college football? I was saying yesterday, I think the team with the most millionaires is going to have an advantage. You guys have a ton of those. Texas has them, Alabama has them, LSU has them, but they can't really compete with Texas A&M, Arkansas, Alabama in that space. How much do you think that is an emphasis on recruiting these days?
I think it already is, and I think it's going to become more and more and more. And I think what you're not seeing, I guess, but what's happening behind the scenes is like what the Miami guy did is nice, and I could see a lot of schools doing similar. I actually had heard that A&M, there was a similar something in the works. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but what I think is, I think what's going on right now is behind the scenes. I think a lot of people almost weren't quite ready for this around the country, and there's so much that needs to go on. But I think behind the scenes, there's a ton all over the college football, like all those places you mentioned, from Baton Rouge, everywhere else. I think there's a lot of mobilizing going on behind the scenes in order to these alumni bases, I guess I'd say, to kind of organize in order to be ready and to be able to sponsor these type of opportunities when they come up, these signings, T-shirt and branding and these commercials or these things like we did with the interviews.
Yeah.
Like my plan moving forward is to get several players and do interviews once a week, where they're coming once every 2 weeks. I say several. This year I want to do 4, 2 offense, 2 defense, where they come in, they do an interview 1 week. Our office is right across the street. They leave media days. They do an interview. They go back to media days, and 4 of them every other week. So once every 2 weeks, you commit 30 minutes of your time, and I'll get that sponsored. But things like that. But I think there's organization behind the scenes, and where people just aren't quite ready to just say, okay, line them up, we'll knock them down. But yeah, as time goes on, that's what you're going to see. Is these, it's just going to be money funding. I saw Orange Bloods did something yesterday that was almost crowdsourcing type of thing. Pay, if you want to donate, or if you want to donate to the fund for this player, if you want to donate and help sponsor, he's going to do interviews throughout the season. I thought that was interesting because in my head, I've kind of been waiting for someone else to do it, but it's like we're a website of 250,000 people, and at this point, who's to say? And I don't know. I mean, I'd look into it, but there might be some kind of roadblock that says, oh, no, you can't do that. But I don't think there is to say, hey, here's a $4.99 subscription. It's like ESPN Plus, but we're going to go ahead and, you guys, anybody that wants to pay for it, it's going to be all these exclusive interviews with athletes. And if a couple of them do, you guys have imagine like a Honey Badger podcast back in the day, or Leonard Fournette doing his own podcast. Like, it's going to be all athlete content, and we're going to charge $4.99 a month. And could you imagine how many people would pay that on TexAgs or any of the LSU sites? And then so we take some of that in order to operate and execute the thing. That's a big undertaking, and give X percentage of that to the athlete. And then, oh, by the way, we're going to also sell advertising of all these individual things, and that money will go straight to the athlete. I mean, that's how crazy the setup is right now. I mean, that you could literally almost do on these giant websites. You could essentially, without calling it that, you might be able to just call it that, but you could do a GoFundMe and have actual things that they do and get paid for, but the money coming from that, which would be essentially like alumni. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's a crazy thought that you could do that. And that's why I'm kind of sitting back, because I'm just going to wait it out and see, because you could do, if you have the groundwork set, you could execute that overnight. But it's crazy to think that we live in a world where I'm pretty sure you could do that just as simple as that. And that's, I don't like it. I really don't. I don't like, I did the NIL one because I wanted to get out in front, which is interesting because to date, A&M hasn't done anything significant that people are talking about except that. So again, I go back to this. I think people are in the background mobilizing all over the country, just kind of trying to figure out, okay, how is this going to work? How is this going to get done? I think that's why you haven't seen too many. That's why Nick Saban's like, oh, Bryce Young, $1 million.
Right. Because he's got it worked up behind the scenes. He's recruiting that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's telling Arch Manning, look at Bryce Young. He hadn't taken a snap yet. He's got $1 million on the table. I'll have you $5 by the time you get here.
By the way, I don't know if you've heard or not, but Arch Manning's going to Texas. So everybody else in the SEC can sit down because Arch Manning's a done deal. They're calling it Arch Madness over there, and now that they're in the SEC, they're definitely getting them. So again, get used to a whole hell of a lot of that. So whatever the number one player is in Louisiana every year. Yeah. You guys ain't getting him anymore.
That's right. That's right. I could feel it. I could feel it. We felt that momentum. We were talking about it, that it feels like he's sitting at Westlake Carroll, not Newman High School in New Orleans. It feels like he's sitting in some suburb of Austin right now. Last one.
I saw a deal. I thought there were Ole Miss. Miss put out some video on Archie Manning
and Eli
the other day, and everybody said they clearly know that he's going to Texas, and this is them scrambling.
Hail Mary. Yeah, right. Last one, I'll get you out of here, Billy. Thank you for your time this morning, man.
Yeah, no problem.
The SEC preseason, I know you said media days. When you look back on it, doesn't mean a lot. It's just a good opportunity to network and get everybody together. But the voting said that Texas A&M is going to finish second in the West, and as you said, there was a buzz about the Aggies program last week that was unavoidable. Where is Jimbo right now with this team? Does this feel like as competitive as a group as he's had?
Yes and no. From 1 to 85, yes. The players on the field, I'd say absolutely. At the top end, talent is through the roof, and there's depth, and there's some. I mean, they've got. This is the first time I'll tell you they signed 4 5-stars this year, and I don't know if any of them will be more than role guys. And so, and we'll have to fight to get out there on the field. So that's where they're at right now with it. And I think if they would have more of a veteran O-line, the combination of 4 new starters on the O-line and a new quarterback certainly gives you reason for pause. I don't think it perfectly syncs up. But, man, Calzada and King will go at it. I really like what King can do as a dual threat, and I think he's a true dual threat. And he's a competitor and winner. But that in the O-line is still with a first-round pick in Kenyon Green. Yeah. And a couple of these guys, they've got a Tennessee grad transfer that started 3 years, and 2 of the other guys are going into year 3 and 4, respectively. So they're not going to have a bunch of young guys new to college football out there, but it's still new faces. Everything else seems in place. I worry a little bit about the secondary when it comes to, when you guys are going to have a receiver that can run past almost anybody. Bama's obviously going to have them. We saw one of them do it last year to the Aggies in Mechie. That still, to me, is going to be a little bit of a concern until they add a little more speed on that back end. But man, they still have good DBs. They're returning everybody on defense just about. This should be Jimbo's best defense in 4 years as A&M under Mike Elko. So, I think this is a team that I don't, because of everything I just said earlier about the O-line and QB, I'm not going to pick them to win it. I think my instinct right now is to pick them to go, I think, like a 10-2. But I don't have a problem with them being picked second in the West. I think if you'd have picked them, or I know everything LSU brings back, I think you could have picked either one of them, and it would have been, I wouldn't have argued with it.
Great to catch up with you, my friend. Sorry about the confusion this morning. Hopefully we catch up during football season. Thanks again for the time.
Hey, it's a good start to the day.
Absolutely. Later, man. There is Billy Liucci checking in from TexAgs over in College Station. As I'm telling you, if you're looking for the model of covering a team, when you just look at the model of what TexAgs does,
he just spilled the beans.
Well, he gave you a little insight to what they're thinking on name, image, and likeness. But when you look at their numbers, he just told you they hit about 250,000 people a day. Their facility is directly across the street from Texas A&M's football operations facility. Billy Liucci is as tied into the Texas A&M football program as Jimbo Fisher. It feels like
it's like a second SID office.
It almost is. I mean, they have the trust and they have the relationship with the football program that I think everybody in this space looks for. They are the blueprint. They are the model in which that's done successfully, and the model that he and Gabe Bach have over at TexAgs really is what people strive for. I think when you look around college football and when you look around college sports on how to cover it, how to keep the relationships, and how to be financially successful off of it, TexAgs really is the venue and is the role that people are looking for. So thank you to Billy for stopping by. Daily, we're brought to you by RMB Builders, Rhett Bourgeois and his crew over at RMB. Let them and their team build your dream home. They have open communication and easy availability. Your home will become your heart and the place where all of your most treasured memories happen. They can provide that for you. If you're looking for a total rehaul, they can do that over at RMB Builders. If you want to custom build a home, you can do that through RMB Builders. Anything that you're looking for. If you need handiwork done around the house, check out rmb-builders.com. They're online there at RMB Builders. Rhett Bourgeois and his entire crew. They've helped us out. They've helped Katie out. They've done work for both of us, and they've been incredible. Very organized, very easy to follow. Finishing up over at my house, and everything looks beautiful. So check out.
In here has used the bathroom that Red built for me.
RMB, that's right.
That's true.
That's right. That's right.
My bathroom.
Oh, the palace?
It's got a TV and a hot tub in there, yeah.
RMB Builders online at RMB-Builders. That's my favorite. RMB-Builder. No. I love dual shower heads though.
Yeah.
I think he's the only one that hasn't been.
I am not. RMB-Builders.com. We'll be back and close it out. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy at jordyculotta.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy at jordyculotta.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. A journey that began as a student at LSU back in 2001 now has taken him to the Sports Information Director's office at Tennessee Football, where he is in control of all the media that is going out up in Knoxville. He was formerly with Mississippi State and LSU, and nearly got put into a very awkward moment this morning on a Baton Rouge local podcast down here as Bill the Thrill Martin, me and him were going back and forth, except the entire time I thought I was texting back and forth with Billy Liucci. And I nearly introduced Martin as Lucci this morning, and in just a total gangster move, Martin just hung the phone up. He said, "Nope, ain't happening, bro. Ain't happening to me this morning. I'm getting the hell out of here." Yes, that's right. Bill, Thrill, how are you, man? Thank you for everything. Yes. Good morning.
Good morning. I don't know a lot about Texas A&M football, but yeah, I figured that was the best move. But I'm just thrilled to know that, man. I'm the first Bill that came up with the phone.
Yes, indeed, man.
I think I'm nobody in Knoxville here. So
that is, thank you for the way that you handled that, and thank you for your kindness in return and coming back with us for a couple of minutes. It's great to catch up with you, man.
For sure.
Obviously, you started in Baton Rouge. You're a Lake Charles native, Southwest Louisiana native, and spent so much time in the sports information's office at LSU, Mississippi State, and now with Josh Heupel in his first year up at Tennessee. How has the game changed, Bill, from your point of view, and just the way that information is digested and distributed from your office? How have you seen it? Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I think we could all talk about how things have changed, 20 years ago when we're I guess all huddled up in the Lawton room at Nick Saban's old press conferences. And there wasn't social media and the speed of news, and a lot's changed, and a lot of it for the better as well. And this is a constantly evolving business, as you've seen. The changes that are happening in college athletics. Obviously the news of last week and NIL, but one thing still remains the same is the passion for the sport, the game, what we do, game days, the student athletes, the coaches. While things may change, that still stays the same. And, nothing will ever change just the adrenaline rush of game days and everything that comes with that.
I think one of the great traditions in the SEC, one of the great traditions in college football is Neil and River is the pregame of Tennessee. If you have not had a chance to experience it, it is one of the great days in college football of a fall Saturday.
For sure.
What is the anticipation of Josh Heupel here in year one? I was there last week when he was presented, and very impressive in the way that he addressed the room. What is the expectation in Knoxville around year one?
Well, I think one is to evolve into a new age approach at Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Certainly a great tradition here, a lot of great players and embracing the past. But, if you look at it, the game has changed. I mean, look at LSU's national championship team and that offense and the things they did. We have to evolve here, and it starts offensively. It starts at quarterback and hiring a guy who coached and played at the highest level, Heisman Trophy runner-up, national champion quarterback. It helps when your head coach knows how and has a track record of developing the most important position on the field.
Yeah.
Quite a contrast from what's been here before. And I think we want to play fast here and evolve offensively. Heupel, certainly no stranger to the SEC, and was at Missouri for 2 years in 16 and 17. And, they led the SEC in total offense and points per game in both of those seasons. And, the expectation here is that we're going to look a lot different. We want to play fast. We want to get the ball in, your skilled players' hands, and we want development at quarterback. I mean, you take a look, who was the last great quarterback here at Tennessee? And I think it starts, obviously, everybody knows at that position. And who better guy to do it than to bring a guy in like Josh Heupel, who's going to completely revamp the offense.
Bill Martin joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Southwest Louisiana has been rocked over the last year. We talked to Frank Wilson during his season, which happened in the spring, as he's now the head coach at McNeese, and just talking about the day-to-day grind of what's going on in that part of the country. You are a proud Bard Buccaneer and somebody who comes from that part of the world. How have you kept up with South Louisiana and seen it trying to rebound?
It's tough, and you're sitting here in Knoxville and you see what's happening last fall and kind of feel helpless. And but I tell you this, those people down there are the most resilient people I'll ever know.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there are a lot of people still going through struggles. I mean, my parents, they're not in their home still.
Wow.
They're living in an apartment in Baton Rouge. And, hopefully making progress to get back into their home. But there's a lot of people like that. But I tell you, just hearing stories, like it was really touching to me, like during all that time. I'd hear about people going over there to cook for people. And it was kind of like a celebration in the midst of tragedy. And that's the kind of people there are down there. And, I know I feel for everybody down there, but I know they'll be back because it's just such a great place. And, obviously all of Southwest Louisiana and that part of the country is just great people.
20 years of communications experience in the Southeastern Conference, and now the head sports information director over at the University of Tennessee. A great friend in the first bill that pops up in my phone when I type in BIL. Billy the Thrill Martin joining us here on this Tuesday morning, man. Have a great day, and thank you for your time, Bill.
No problem. Great talking to y'all. And like I say, I don't know a lot about A&M football, but I'm just thrilled. You hit me up first.
You the man. Later, Thrill. See
right.
you, buddy. There is Billy Martin checking in here on this Tuesday.
Unbelievable,
man. Is that crazy?
happened.
That's nuts.
That he was going along with it.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, okay, well, I'll hop on the morning. And then you have Lucci, who was just dead. He was like, "What are you doing to me?"
And I'm looking back at our text, and this is from me and Bill Martin last night, and I'm like, "My guy, sorry I missed you last week. We were just in for Monday. News is haywire, and would love to have you and catch up tomorrow if you have the time. We appreciate you very much. Talk soon. Jordy, 8 a.m. available. Thank you, Billy." And he's like, "Hey, sure.
What?
8 Central, I guess works. Are we talking Tennessee football?" And I'm thinking this is Billy Liucci. Yeah, so I'm like, ha, ... I'm going to ask you off the top about Shane Beamer's first year at USC. And he's like, LOL, all right.
You're like, this interview's gonna go great.
Yeah. I'm like, this is fantastic, right? And then this morning he's like, LOL, I had to hang up. You called Bill Martin, not Billy Liucci. Didn't want it to be awkward. So he was fantastic.
What is he in your phone? Just Bill?
Yeah.
You just have two Bills?
Yes. Well, I have Bill L.
Bill M.
Bill L. and Bill.
Oh, okay,
And
just Bill.
Yeah.
Maybe add those last names.
Right. No, I've done that now since. and now on the right path with
And then
both.
we have Lucci who's going at a late night watching Netflix. What does that even mean?
It's like, I know I didn't drink. I know I remember talking to you. So good stuff this morning from both Bills in the 8 o'clock hour, kind of like Office Space. We went and saw the Bills.
Yeah.
The Bobs.
What do you do here?
Well, Bob, I'm glad you asked. Bill Martin from Tennessee, thank him for stopping by. And then, of course, Billy Liucci from TexAgs for stopping by. Garrett Temple was fantastic talking NBA Finals and Olympics and hour number one. All of that podcast is then brought back to you by R&B Builders. Have a great Tuesday, bro.
I just feel bad at Lucci. Him talking about Texas, you could tell they don't like each other.
No, they hate each other.
He's mad. And, I mean, I don't blame him, but that was unbelievable. He just went off on a tangent. Like, and another thing about Texas.
They leave a trail.
Yeah.
You might not know now, but you'll know soon.
They'll get in your bed.
I mean, the manipulative snake comments. I mean, bro, that's hatred.
That was harsh. Hate.
That's hate.
Hate.
That is hate. Hate.
Woke up pissed off.
Yeah.
Tory Carter.
All right, have a great day out there. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning. Talk to Jean-Paul Bourgeois, our chef, tomorrow.
Sure.
30 minutes, no doubt. He'll be in for an extended time tomorrow, the correct one. Here talking about all of his latest travels, some of his latest finds, some of his new eats. He's got a new look. He got a haircut and a shave.
Have you seen?
And he's part of Meat Eaters.
Yeah, he's a part of. He's
Got made a huge
and now he's a
move.
meat eater.
Yeah.
Have you seen some of his vacation pictures?
Yes.
I didn't know turkey looked like that.
It's
Oh,
amazing.
I thought
I'm
it
like
was
living through him.
like third world,
No.
and it is not.
No,
Or-
not third world.
Jesus, it's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, it's nice. over there.
Apologize
Real
to all the
nice.
Turkish listeners out
Sorry.
there.
Good luck in the Olympics, turkey.
There goes that demographic.
Nobody's watching. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning.
What do you think it was?